Today on the Georgia's Live podcast, I have a musician, a photographer, and a creator that probably does 20 more things that we'll find out about here on the show today. Patti Steel, who has a new song that she'll be talking about, and her band Trash Can Bandits have a new release that she'll be talking about, as well as some other things. So let's go ahead and take you there. Here is Patti Steel on the Georgia's Live podcast.
Woohoo! Wait,
Yeah,
here we
play us.
go.
Here we go.
Ready?
Here we go.
There you go.
Do you have that as a credit, like on your list of instruments that you can play? Is that on there?
Actually, it's not one that I'm quite ready for, but I did buy some harmonicas when the pandemic started because I was like, might as well try to learn how to play the harmonica.
How many instruments can you play? Like 200?
I have not actually listed them all out, but I could name some of them.
Yeah,
So
go for it.
clarinet's my first,
Mm-hmm.
and then I play mandolin, guitar, bass guitar, washboard, kazoo, slide whistle, flute, saxophone, bassoon. I played the French horn back in high school. I think I said saxophone. And then I was given a banjolele, so now I play it. The ukulele I play now.
You've kind of put
Um,
yourself in a corner to where nobody's impressed with something new anymore. They're just like,
but I'm not like
there it
I'm
is.
not a virtuoso of them all. Like, I'm not really good at all of them. I can play them,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't say that I'm like versed yet on all of them.
So we'll dive into your projects here in a minute, but how do you
Okay.
decide like what you play? Like if you're playing with different groups and different genres and stuff, is it obviously without saying it's just whatever it calls for? It's like duh. But like how do you decide though? Do you kind of nudge it in a certain way that you prefer to play something like that?
Each project kind of has its own beast for sure. So when I joined Trash Can Bandits was definitely the first band that was like officially a band I was a part of, not just like a sit-in.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just let me kind of do whatever I wanted. So they really liked the clarinet and they really liked the mandolin because it kind of went with our sound. The spoons, however, weren't a part of it at first, but then we kept playing all these like Irish jig songs, or and they kind of required the spoons, so that's how that came into play. When I play with Chucky Wags, that was just honestly, he just had me playing clarinet in the beginning, but I would just be like, "Hey, well, would you like this?" Or sometimes he wouldn't even know. I would just bust out an instrument, and then he would be like, it'd kind of freak him out, and then he would like it. So I think each project kind of is different. It just kind of depends on what, you know, I guess I've been around music all my life. So I kind of feel like I'm not like an expert, but I feel like I know what the sound needs, I guess.
You're like a
I don't
good
know how to
testament for
really,
people that are like, well, when I used to hear like, oh, you learn how to play keyboard, it'll help you learn a little bit more of everything else. And that's something you hear like when you're younger, when you're first learning. But then you really start seeing that more when you're older. Like when I learned to play guitar and kind of teaching myself on that, at one point I went into East Hall to throw down some scratch tracks for a solo thing, and I did like 5 or 6 songs, and then I went and recorded drums, and it was just like so locked in that it actually made me sound a little bit better than probably what I really was, because it was like so tight. I was the only person that was playing on it. So but it really showed me like I became a much better drummer when I started playing guitar as well.
yeah, I bet. I mean, that I feel like because of playing, like the bass guitar was actually my first string instrument. I played in junior high jazz band. Um, and I played for 2 years, but I wouldn't say that I'm an amazing bass player, but I think it gave me enough of that rudiment understanding that made me a better guitar player, which also then made me a better mandolin player. So I feel like they've all kind of you know, helped me reach a better place musically, for sure.
So speaking on Trash Can Bandits, this has been a
Mhm.
band. How long have you been in this band? Or how long has this been
So
been
the
around?
band, I guess,
Band's been around for a
officially
while.
started like I think in 2011, but I wasn't the original member. They had a fiddle player originally, and but I would come and sit in for some shows like when they first started out. So I joined the band in 2012. So I guess 8 years.
It's been, I've been booking and throwing shows for about 12 years. And I went back and looked through some old emails from like 2012 and 13. And I was seeing like Trash Can Bandits emails and stuff. Like for me, you forget how many times you've worked with people and you just see them all the time and stuff. But then you're like, whoa, we're almost probably like at 25, 30 shows of working together on some things. Like,
Yeah.
where my studio space is. I'm over here with Cadillac Jackson. They're close to where I'm at. And I'm like, man, I've been working with those guys for over 10 years now. So it's,
Yeah, no, I realized that we've been, I was actually trying to remember because we met one time you were working at Riley's and I came to hang out and then we went for a walk and we were going bar hopping and you were like, we should go check out this bar. We should go check
oh,
out
it
this
was a
bar.
show. I was playing a show with somebody that night and I just
I
had
was
some
playing with
time.
Randall that night.
No, that's right. You were playing with Randall. That's right.
But you took me to, what was the place across at the time from?
It was Bugsy's.
It's Bugsy's now.
Yeah, it was.
Was that what it was?
Mm-hmm. Right outside
See, I
across the
can't
street.
remember.
Across the street from us at George's.
Yes. Yes, and it was so much fun because I was worried I wasn't going to be able to play on stage that night.
Well, all my friends are bartenders, so and
They kept
it's a good
giving us
community
shots.
on Dixon Street. It's all friends and stuff. So, what about So you guys have a new release now that you've put
Yes,
out.
it's our new album, Ashes to Ashes,
Mm-hmm.
and it's super, super different sound than what we normally had, like our last album, which was in 2013, by the way. So it's been a long time coming. We recorded it at George's
Oh,
with Arlie,
there you go.
and
And
had
for
it
those of you
mastered
that
by
don't
East
know,
Hall.
Arlie is our head of production here at George's, longtime staple. So that's super awesome.
Well, George's has supported the Trash Can Bandits from early on. Like we used to play shows with Sean James and the Ben Miller Band, Dirtfoot. I mean, like all of the regulars from those days
Mhm.
back in 2012 and 13. We were playing actively and supporting George's. That was our only venue that we played back then. The occasional like outdoor, like Spring Fest and Block Street Party, and I know we played a couple times in front of the Sound Warehouse, but
Mhm.
most of our stuff was George's, and we like supporting George's.
Yeah,
So-
we appreciate it.
But I'm super excited because we have like one of our songs is an instrumental that is kind of different, and I really like it. And also, Dane had another poem that we put together, so it kind of showcases our ability to be a different style within the album itself.
Mhm.
Like the album showcases a good variety of our sound. So
It's hard to pinpoint your sound.
it is very, when we played last year we were in the, what's it called? The showcase for Arkansas Times.
Arkansas Times Showcase.
Yes.
Battle of the Is it a Battle of the Bands?
Yeah, we were
It's
gonna
called the
be in
Showcase, but
finals.
it is a Battle of the Bands, right?
It is a battle of the
Okay.
bands, and we didn't win the night that we played, but we ended up being the wild card, and we were so excited. And literally 2 days before we were supposed to perform, the pandemic came full fledged here, and it got canceled. And they tried to reschedule it twice, and we just never were able to. But we were really excited. We had worked really hard to get.
That's been like a cool thing that's been around in
For a long
Arkansas
time.
for a long time. I think I've
Yeah.
played it like 4 different times with like 4 different bands. And
I didn't even know about it, so I felt silly that I didn't know. But when I saw it, I put us in to do it, And but anyway, when we played, they had said something about we were a shadow noir, something like that, and I was like, ooh, I like that. So that's kind of what I ended up helping us re-describe our sound, because it is kind of hard to describe.
Mhm.
We've always had that challenge, I feel like, as a band.
I've
But
seen
I think that's what also sets us apart.
yeah, and I've seen Dane's videos he's been posting, like for me being a drummer, learning some guitar, like
Good.
little
He's
little
helping
guitar
you?
lessons. Yeah, I like watching
Well,
them. Like,
he's an amazing guitar instructor. I mean, he's able to put it in a way that makes sense for people who might not understand it the way he does, because
Mhm.
he's super theory. I'm not super theory. I'm all by feel and play and experience. I feel like that's kind of why I'm different than usually. Most clarinet players are very traditionally classical trained and they know their stuff. And I didn't, I didn't come up that way.
When did you start playing music?
um, I mean, in band in school, but I had the clarinet when I was 7. So, and then I know that, and it was only because it was in the family, but I wanted to be a drummer. So when you go to, like, was it 4th or 5th grade and they ask you what instrument you want to
Mhm.
play, I said, I want to play the snare. And they said, I'm sorry, we have too many snare players. And I was like,
Everybody's trying to jump on the drums.
devastated.
That's a problem.
I was like, no, they need me. This is my calling.
That's how
But
my little one got pushed to trumpet. It's a thing.
yeah, no, it's a thing, I'm sure. And then I remember my mom's like, well, we only have a clarinet, so you can either play drums or clarinet. And I was like, well, I guess I'm playing clarinet. So that's kind of how I ended up on that instrument.
So you have a song that's out.
Yes, it's been released. Dominic, Roy, and myself got together somewhere during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And we were working with the House of Songs and did a co-write virtually. And then when we felt safe to be around each other, we actually went and recorded it at just a little, like a live video on my phone at
Mhm.
Crystal Bridges, keeping our distance.
Mhm.
And then everybody seemed to really like it. So I asked a friend, John Henry, if he would help us record the song in an audio so I could have it post, be able to put it online. So that's who recorded it for us. And then everything else kind of came together.
I haven't talked to him in a while. How's he been?
I haven't seen him in
John?
that was back in August, recorded it. So it's just been so many things have happened since.
He was doing some before the pandemic, and he was getting into some cool different waters. Had him on
Yeah, he's
our
been-
showcase series on our podcast, and it was awesome. I like what he's doing.
Well, what's crazy is I played with John and John Henry and Friends back in 2013 when the Bandits took a break. So I have an entire album I recorded with him on my page, but it's like appearing as I never had like my own song,
Oh yeah, yeah.
So this one, that's what's so cool about this. And him helping us was cool because I helped us get the recording that we did for his album. So for him to record me was kind of cool. It was kind of like bringing it back.
Is this your first song to release just solo?
Well, and it's not just me. I mean, Dominic's singing and I'm singing. Like, so what we did was he wrote a few of the verses, I wrote a verse, and then we wrote a verse together. And then, of course, I have my solos, and then I'm singing harmony on a lot of it. But I just kind of took the reins on this song and said, hey, I'm going to release this. So, but he was okay with that because, we work together a lot. Actually,
He's a good
right
dude.
before, yeah, he's a great guy. Right before we decided to do this, he just messaged and said, hey, you want to play a show this weekend? I was like, yes.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm really excited. I think he wants to write more together too. We have a good
Mhm.
vibe. So, and this song has a good vibe. It's called Quarantine 2020.
How'd you come up with the name?
I mean,
What's it about? No, we should play it here on the podcast if you're cool with it.
absolutely.
Done.
I would love that.
All right. Well, let's cue it up right now. Here it is.
I'm down.
Quarantine 2020 by Patti Steel.
What can I do to pay my rent? My rent is due and my money is spent. I spent it on this when it should have been that. But I didn't know where my life would be at. Lost my job, no income in sight. Can't pay these bills cause these times they are tight. We're not the only one who feels this way, but we have to accept that this is our day to day. send me some help from above. I wanna drive around in my car, drive downtown to my local bar. I miss my family and all of my friends, and every single hug I get from them. Can't do this and I can't do that. Social distancing is where it's at. Got no labor and got no love. Can someone send me some help from above? It's rooting my life and it's rooting yours. I wish this virus would just run its course. It's a global problem and it's serious. So I dream of the day that we can wash our hands of this. Can't do this and I can't do that. Social distancing is where it's at. Got no labor and got no love. Can someone please send me some help from above? What can I do to pay my rent? My rent is due and my money's spent.
There it is, Quarantine 2020. Talk a little bit about this artwork.
Well, so we recently had this wonderful snow, and I was stranded in my apartment because I had COVID. So I decided to step out and take some snow photos. And that's actually one of those right off my front doorstep. I just love the way the snow looked and the trail and the light post. So that's what, and I figured it was kind of fitting of the title as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you do photography as well.
I do. I actually also teach photography. So I don't just do, I also teach. So, yeah.
How long have you done that?
So I've been doing photography for about 15 plus years. But as far as teaching, I think it's been about 10 years that I've been teaching off and on. I teach in Missouri at Crowder College. But I've also taught public speaking, speech, business speaking, all kinds of other communication type classes and media classes.
Oh, cool. You were saying earlier that you did those photos there on the wall behind you.
I did. Yes, the one is from Winfield. It's a bluegrass festival that I go to usually every year. And the other one is actually kind of a flame throwing. A friend of mine is a fire thrower.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a long exposure of her throwing flames. So that's what that one is. Yeah.
Nice.
And I do landscapes. I do, concert photography. I do band photos. I do portraits for families and people. And I mean, I'm even just been hired to start shooting some local businesses to come and help make their website look better. So
Oh,
I
nice.
really kind of am a virtuoso of photography. I try to be.
Do you find that that helps your kind of along with your music a lot? Not so much the actual music, but as you the marketing side of it and stuff.
I feel like that my experience in media has definitely helped. I still have so much to learn though. Like I'm always asking you questions, like, hey, how do you do this? And I need more marketing background. I have the media side, but
Hmm.
I don't have the marketing side. So that's the stuff I'm still trying to learn
I've
myself.
been falling down YouTube rabbit holes. There's a
Oh
few.
yeah.
There's like this dude. I don't know his name, but he's like English or something. But he's got this really cool accent. But he talks about if you like top 21 things to do to market your album, and he just lists them off, and it's just like super helpful. There's so many things on YouTube that I know everybody
Oh
says
yeah.
look
I
it
get
up
in
on
rabbit
YouTube,
holes too.
but it's like releasing an album, putting together the campaign, and like they'll just list the things. There's so many people that I kind of like always go look and kind of wait to see what new stuff's coming out. And it's just so hard to know how to release music and kind of how to do it with the pandemic going on.
Yeah, and right now my current issue is since I'm a musician and photographer, I'm trying to, have one website where they can click here and go to music or click here and go to photos. And that has been a challenge because I can't afford all of the things to keep them all separate, but so I'm trying to find a new way to showcase Patti Steel, the artist,
Hmm.
and be able to say, hey, yes, I'm a photographer, but I'm also a great musician. And I want people to know that because even today, someone was like, I knew you played music, but I had no idea you're a photographer. And then I'll get the other,
And
oh,
people
I
need
know you're a
photography
great
and video right
photographer.
now. Now's the time to be a photographer or a videographer,
Yes.
with everything being digital.
Yeah. And I have enough experience in both, well, a lot of experience, obviously, in photography. And I have enough video experience to do pretty good. I wouldn't say that I'm a virtuoso of that, but I definitely had a lot of um, work in the video department when I was going to school. They required it. So
Have you kind of always played in this community, playing music in the Northwest Arkansas area, or have you lived anywhere else?
I'm actually from Southwest Missouri, so that's where I used to play. I didn't play down here until about 2009 was when I moved to the area. I mean, I'd come down and support other bands and I would sit in with other people, but as far as me living here, playing here, yeah, that wasn't until about
Like Joplin,
2009.
like Joplin area, or
Joplin, yep,
okay.
yep.
Joplin is
A weird hub.
man, can't think. Yeah, it's weird, but I've never seen a
It's cool.
town support music so much. But
It
then
was
not,
earlier.
yeah,
It
it's
kind of died.
well, it's like the support is there. It just, I don't know. Shows are sometimes a little bit
They need
tough.
a Travis Smith.
No, they just
Yes.
no. They
You have a way of bringing people together. It's a compliment.
well, thank you. It's
Yeah, I
well,
mean, I know it's not just you. There's a lot of other people,
yeah, that's what I think of when you say that. I'm
but
like, yeah,
but I
but I work with
definitely
like a
think
group of
you're a
10.
hub of people. I
Well,
am too.
yeah,
I
it's
think the
it's
two of
people
us are both
working. Yeah, and it's
part of the
not,
community.
and I don't want that to seem like a knock on Joplin because I don't think I've played in. It's probably my top three most city that I played in the most. But like
And there's nothing wrong with Joplin.
Blackthorn,
It's
Blackthorn is
changed.
awesome now. Blackthorn is
Blackthorn.
yeah. So the stuff that they're
But I
doing
went to
there.
high school with the owner of the club now.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah,
But
and
like she
I
had
used
worked
to.
there forever, and then now she owns it, and she's like making renovations, and like she knows what's up.
Do you know that her band was my first band to photograph?
Really, they played in a battle of the bands when I was in a band called Thanks for Nothing. We played a battle of the bands in Miami,
Awesome.
Oklahoma, at the Quapaw Casino with and Ben Miller band. There was like top three, and Ben Miller band was one of the winners. And they would always play on Dixon Street while we played at Riley's. They would play upstairs and they played downstairs at Big Daddy's. So
Nice.
it's like that Joplin and Fayetteville connection is pretty strong. There's a lot of
It is
people
pretty
that's played up
strong.
there. Randall is always playing in Joplin, the Shreves, and then everybody around here always plays Joplin. It's always
Yeah.
been somewhere you go play,
Yeah, the Trash Can Bandits play there quite often, actually.
and you can get a good following in Joplin. You just got to
Oh
keep
yeah, I
grinding.
mean, it's just you have to you have to go up there and play. And they used to have restaurants and stuff that would have music as well. Back in the day, there was a place called Mahaska Farm, and we used to go play acoustically as the Trash Can Bandits. And then we would do like in Webb City, just not far away, which is where I really am from. They have a farmers market, and they would have musicians play. So if you were a solo, duo, trio that was acoustic, they would allow you to come play there.
Kansas has a little couple hotbeds of 3,000 to 5,000 people in a town where you can go there and do stuff that it could take you years to do in St. Louis, Parsons, Kansas. You can go to the Kitchen Pass back in the day, and you can get 150 people to show up every time you played there.
Yeah,
you're from somewhere
because
else,
these people are starving for music, and I hear this a lot. Like right now, especially, people are dying, but we can't go anywhere and we can't do anything because of the pandemic. So, and they're definitely very frustrated at online. We've bombarded the online airwaves for sure.
Yeah.
So most of my stuff, I don't do a whole lot of streaming, but I definitely will try to post videos, occasionally when I get a chance. I've actually just been getting over being sick. So I'm, like you can hear in my voice, I'm still, recovering. But I think as soon as I get back to my normal feeling, I'll be releasing more videos, because I've got stuff in the works.
So you're going to be releasing more solo material?
Yes. I have about 5 songs total that are ready. And then I'm working with other musicians writing. Like I've got a song that Ashton and I have been writing together. Emily Hart from Dandelion Heart, we've been starting on a song. And then Dominic and I are going to write some more. And then we've been talking about a lot of other things. So I'm really excited. I think this year is going to be
cool that you're
for a better year.
That's cool that you're collabing with everybody. We have such a good music community.
Yeah.
We have so many people willing to work together.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's what I love about being in Fayetteville. I feel like this community is, and I don't mean just Fayetteville, but Northwest Arkansas in general, it's a really good community of like trying to help each other out. So it's nice.
And there's so many, I don't think people realize how many pieces of industry actually exist around Northwest Arkansas.
I know. They kind of forget about us.
Well, if you go like how many studios there are, like recording studios, there's like 10 of them.
Or probably even more that we don't know of.
There's at least 10. I can name like 4 of them that just pop out of the top of my head. 4 of them I've recorded at in the last 2 years. So it's like, there's so many, there's publishing here, there's like lessons, and with Pro Sound recording in Springdale, and then and Bentonville has a ton of places, and Rogers has some places that have popped up. Springdale, we have like such a Northwest Arkansas community where each town is kind of doing something that's different and kind of cool, that that didn't exist before, to where a musician can go into different little scenes or pockets within a community and be able to play different types of shows like we can now. You know what I mean? Like
totally.
We have like,
absolutely.
So but having, it just sucks that the venues are down,
I know I was reading some posts yesterday of some of my favorite venues that we've been playing over the course of 5 years, and it's just, I was almost in tears reading they're pleading and begging people, but like a lot of us musicians and other entertainers, we're broke, I'm like barely scraping by to make ends meet. I've been giving, like you were mentioning, lessons. I've started giving lessons too on mandolin, because I need any avenue of income so that I can just pay rent. So, I'm not even being able to go, and I would love to have enough money where I could be helping the studios and helping other photographers and helping other musicians, so I could pay them. And I don't have the money. Not yet. One day I will. When I do, everybody will be good. That's I'll be spraying money with everyone.
That's the spirit, though. You got to keep pushing. You have creative talents that can help. So that's kind of where I'm always at as well. That's why I'm super happy about, Georgia's being able to continue, being able to move outside. We were able to do that for a while, and moving back inside, fortunate enough to have this big room that we could do limited capacity shows. It's
I want to do one of those someday.
It's hard to find safe places. No, it's hard to find as many venues that are taking the precautions and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
very fortunate to have George's
Yes.
here in Fayetteville.
I agree. I love that place.
Can you tell everybody where to go to find you on your social media and on your website and
Okay.
find your music?
So I'm working on it, but pattysteele.com it'll take you to the photo site.
Mhm.
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Reverb Nation, you name it. Patti Steel is on it probably.
And Patti Steel without the E on Steel.
Yeah, Patti is with an I, Patti, PATTISTEEL.com. And but you can find me on Facebook, and all the links are on my personal page, or you can look me up, Patti Steel Music on Facebook. And eventually I think that's what I'm going to do is pattysteele.com will be the music, and probably I'll just buy another domain name. Man, that's hard to say.
You almost did like a
it's
hybrid
Patti
word
Steel.
there. You made like a pun.
I don't know
Didn't
what I
even
was
know you
trying to
did it.
say.
So
But and then I'll have one for my photography. It'll probably be Patti Steel photos or something like that. So
awesome. Well, thank you for coming on and talking about all this.
well, thanks for having me. I'm very grateful.
It's always fun to talk to you, Patti. You're always
Up to something.
always up to something. And so am I. So it's always good to catch up with you.
Well, maybe we'll be collaborating.
All right. I will talk to you soon.